This is the new TC Pride Podcast, episode 107, on location at the Minneapolis Convention Center for Clare Housing's A Place to Call Home Luncheon. TC Pride Podcast, thrilled to be on location at Clare Housing's A Place to Call Home event, and I'm here with
Chris Briggs.
And Chris, what is your connection to the event?
I am on the development team, so I help put this together, mostly just the coordination of the front end, getting folks to those tables and just getting folks really excited about this annual event. Clare Housing has been doing this event called A Place to Call Home Luncheon since 2011. It's an opportunity for folks to engage with us, get to know our mission, get to know our residents, get to know the folks around their table, and just get real fired up about helping those living with HIV here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, and it sounded like you were involved in the actual sort of logistical coordinating of this event. What does it take to pull something like this off?
It's a full year of planning and preparation. It's really getting out in the community and letting folks know that it's taking place, inviting table hosts to step up and recruit others to be a part of the event, and then just those everyday logistics of making sure there's flowers on the table, a wonderful, nutritious meal for folks. It is a free event. Every penny, though, is going directly toward our services, thanks to our sponsors. So a lot of the year is planning and preparing those sponsors to have a knockout opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, so so people may know from listening to other episodes, so we have an organization in common. So we're both on the board for Quorum, Minnesota. And, we always say it takes a village, and an event like this definitely reinforces that idea. I mean, like, what kinds of roles are there involved in pulling off the actual event today?
Yeah, we have a program team, and they work directly with our development staff to ensure that there is a quality, really actually just a phenomenal video shown every year. We introduce that video that will show all through the remainder of 2018 today. So there's a lot of time in production and getting that video set up. And then a small team of us who work on recruiting those table hosts. So really getting them to understand that they're not asking for money today. They're just asking folks to come and hear this message and be inspired and just have some lunch together with others. So among our board of directors, they're out here just mingling and getting to know folks. Because for a lot of folks, I would say about 70% of the people that are here today, they have no point of entry to Clare Housing until they've come to this luncheon. So it's really important for all of us, whether we're staff, board of directors, table hosts, to introduce them to that mission in one way, shape, or form.
What else happens throughout the year? I mean, this is the big event, right? But there are a lot of things that happen throughout the year. Lots of ways people can get involved.
Yeah, so Clare Housing does this permanent housing solution opportunity for people living with HIV. And one of the best ways that you can get to know us is come and visit one of our buildings. We have 4 apartment buildings in the Twin Cities. We host monthly tours at clarehousing.org. You'll see where and when those tours take place. So I'd always suggest folks taking advantage of that, because that's also a wonderful point of entry for folks. There's other fun events that the community does on their own that supports us, like Bingo a Go-Go. That's an amazing supportive event hosted by Miss Richfield 1981, who's just a trip, and she is hosting that event on the 27th of October. So Bingo a Go-Go is a great way to engage with us in a real fun, silly, but supportive kind of way.
Yeah, and what would you like to say to people who might be listening to this that were involved in putting on this event today?
Thank you. Thank you sincerely to the hosts, to those that are putting together things like the video and just all the behind-the-scenes things that make the guests just feel welcomed. And, of course, those within the room sincerely taking full advantage of course, the luncheon to get to know us, but then wearing their I Support Clare Housing sticker wherever they go to next today, whether it's home or to their place of business or just whatever opportunity they have next. We would love folks to ask, who is Clare Housing and how can I get to know them better?
Yeah, and one last question, and like I said, starting to fill up here, it's getting a little bit busy, but I wanted to ask you, there have been some big things you've been letting people know about when it comes to transmission and detectability. For people that haven't heard that amazing news about, I'm super excited to share that with people. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, housing equals healthcare, plain and simple. So once folks have that opportunity to not have to think about where they're going to sleep tonight, what they're going to eat tomorrow, they're in a supportive environment, and sincerely, it's just about having an open door for them to access with their own key. Once that basic need is met, folks do start to think about improving their health outcomes. And once they start doing that, meaning they're taking their medications more regularly and just staying on top top of all of that stuff, that viral load can get to a place in the body that's considered undetectable, and that is significantly important for the community, because if you are undetectable, you can no longer transmit that virus. And the more we can access housing for folks living with HIV, we can get folks to that place where they're feeling great, and they're no longer able to transmit the virus. So at Clare Housing, it's 90% of our residents are undetectable, and it's truly because they have that place to call home.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure we'll talk to you again. Good luck with the event today, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you.
John Estrom. I'm the president of the board of directors. Interestingly, I was involved with the kind of old Clare Housing when they were separate little organizations back in the 90s in St. Paul, and then was kind of out of it for a while, and now I've been kind of back reconnected to the new merged Clare Housing for about the last 6 or 7 years. This is our annual event where we share our mission, we share our excitement about what we're doing, but it's also a fundraiser, right? So we try to raise some funds, because while the people we support often get some government funding to help them, it's never enough. So we have what we call care homes. That's 4 people living together in a house with staff. We also have apartment programs where there would be more like 30 or 40 people living in an apartment that we own the building, and we have staff there to support people in their journey. It could be medication management, it could just be to build connections, it could be to help them find a job, whatever it is.
Yeah, and to get back to the fundraising component, none of that stuff happens without the support of the amazing people here today.
Oh, very definitely true. None of that happens without that. We can the basic housing we can figure out through public funding, through government funding. But any of the services, we really need the support of the community. Like all nonprofits, Clare Housing really relies also on volunteers. So it can be anything from kind of one-on-one volunteers who kind of befriend somebody and maybe help them a little bit in their journey as a volunteer. In the care homes, we have cooks who come in maybe once a month. They choose a night. They say, we're going to put on the dinner for the 4 residents who live there, freeing up the staff to do some of the more basic cares that they're trained for. It can be office volunteers, it can be event volunteers. There's really a lot of ways to be involved.
Zaylor Stout.
Really, you're starting to approach free t-shirt territory. I think you've been on the podcast a few times now.
Oh, wait, free t-shirts, where?
Well, see, we don't actually have t-shirts yet, but as soon as we get them, you're on the top of the list. So I understand you're hosting one of the tables today.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
I'm hosting with Howard Held.
Oh, okay. And what was it that made you decide to invest in the event in that way?
Well, it's an important organization that provides an important service for an important part of our community, and the younger generations haven't necessarily lived through the HIV/AIDS crisis that a huge chunk of our generation has. And so this is an important way, I think, to be able to give homage to those who survived and to give back.
And aside from the law firm that people might know about, I understand you have a few projects cooking.
I'm an employment law attorney, so I work in the area of sexual harassment, discrimination, wrongful termination, and wage and hour. And as you know, I'm also writing an LGBT history book called Our Gay History in 50 States.
And where can people find out about the book and kind of how all that is coming along online?
The website is www.gay5050states.com. We're also on Facebook, so you can look it up via Our Gay History in 50 States on Facebook and Twitter.
Brent Dundor.
Brent, long time no see, but what are you up to today?
I know, it's been a little while since I've seen you, huh? Yeah. I'm taking pictures for Clare Housing. I've actually done this the last, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and I think the last time you were on the podcast was actually at your They Them gallery event. How have things been going with the project since then?
Really great. I've actually started other galleries in public spaces, and there's other events coming up in like real gallery spaces too. You can go to bdportraits.com. Otherwise, my They Them project is through brentdundore.com, BRENTDUNDORE. And you can also go to theythemproject.org if you want to listen to the interviews, which is what it's all about.
Thanks a lot, man. Good luck today.
Good to see you.
Amy Ruzick. And KT Johnson.
Collectively known as?
The No Place Like Home team of Remax Results.
That's right. You've both been on the podcast several times, but I was just saying, like, we rarely get the team, like, together at the same time. It's No Place Like Home team. But so how's business?
Business is great. It's been a great summer. I think we're going to head into a nice busy fall, and hopefully we'll just have enough inventory out there for people to buy homes that they want.
And why as a business did you feel it was so important to come here and support this event?
It's just, it's a great way to support the community, and honestly, everybody needs stable housing, and with people living with HIV and AIDS, it's really, really important for them to get that. It's an integral part of their health. So that's why it's important to me.
Yeah, and we were chit-chatting before we started recording here, and you were saying you've been to several of these, and you were talking about the emotional sort of engagement that happens.
Oh, absolutely. And, we, as real estate agents, and we sell real estate all the time, we know how much real estate costs. And we also know how much people are paying in rent and how unaffordable it is for people who are healthy and with proper employment and all of that. So when you get to a point where you need help, you got to have a place to live. You got to have a place to call home so that you can get the services that you need, take care of yourself, and live a life that you are happy with.
Yeah, and for people that couldn't make it to this one and would like to come next year, like what can they expect?
Just basically expect your heart to be filled. It's gonna, no matter where you're at, it's gonna move you, because part of this, we hear people's stories and we hear about the newest statistics, and we hear about the importance of housing and people's health. They're directly correlated. It's been proven that people that have stable housing have a better ability to take care of their health, and ultimately the end goal is to make sure that HIV and AIDS is eliminated. Zero detection is a really good thing, and housing is a great part of it.
Yeah. And one more question. So I'm looking at people's name badges here, and I see one of your name badges says Journey Home Circle member. Can you tell people just a little bit about that?
That's we do a monthly contribution. We'll re-up that again this year for sure.
So that's sort of like a semi-long-term commitment.
Yep, and that's one thing that they'll ask here at the event. As part of the ask is, if people would become that member, that type of membership level. So.
Yeah, which I've talked to people here already about, like, this is their one big event, but the need is all year long, and that's a way of supporting the organization all year long.
Yep, it's an easy way to support. You could do monthly donations. I know for myself, I have it coming off of a specific account once a month. It's a small donation, but it adds up.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time, guys. Enjoy the rest of the event, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Manil Hool.
It's been a little while. How you been?
I'm doing well. Busy season here.
So remind folks what you do.
Yeah, so I work with the DFL, so the Democratic Labor Party here in Minnesota, making sure that we're training out communities to vote in this crucial midterm election.
Yeah, so one thing I want to talk to you about is that, so I've been talking to some of the organizers here, and they're talking about how some of the money comes from events like this, from individuals and organizations that sponsor Clare Housing, and a lot of the money actually to be able to do the services, to provide the services, comes from like governmental entities and municipal entities. How important is it that people are involved in the process to making sure that these kinds of programs continue to be funded?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just on a call this morning with our policy folks out in D.C., and they were talking very much about how if we don't have a strong voice in Congress, we're not able to pass the crucial, Medicaid bill that we're trying to do, where we're going to be providing more aid to folks who are struggling or needing housing and these vital services that like organizations like Clare Housing do. So a lot of that does come from governmental aid and all those programs. So folks need to get out there, and we don't need to vote our candidates. We need to vote our values and the issues we care about, and that's what's so crucial. And everything's on the line to people's lives and be able to have a roof over their heads.
Patty Powell.
And Patty, what is your connection to the event today?
Couple connections. So with Quorum, also with Thrivent. And so Clare Housing is a recipient of Choice Dollars for Thrivent. And so we have a lot of members who donate money through the Choice program. So Thrivent is actually a nonprofit, and kind of weird because we are also a financial service industry company. So I'm a financial advisor. However, we don't pay corporate taxes. So we have our members have the ability to push money back into the community. So Clare Housing is one of our recipients on the Choice Dollars, where members can passively just push money directly to an organization of their choosing.
So what I love about Thrivent is, there are a lot of different ways to invest and to prepare for retirement. Really what it sounds like separates Thrivent from a lot of the other ones is it gives you a way to sort of give back to the community while you're preparing for later stages in life.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all have the same investment playground. No one has a secret sandbox, right? So we have the ability to help people with their finances as well as plan for the future, retirement being one of those things, protect them against tragedy. And then we also have the ability to push money back into the community. And another option is called Action Teams. So Action Teams is where a member can actively participate using seed money, which is $250 that they can use twice a year to do a project, to activate, to do something, get their friends involved, and do something for an organization they care about. So for Clare Housing, one of my members, they used an action team at one of their locations on a Saturday, and they did a pancake breakfast, and they did a bingo, and they had prizes. So they gave out $250 worth of prizes and breakfast for the morning, and it was great.
So people want to get a hold of you. Maybe they have some questions about investing for the future. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Patty Powell, so it's Patty, P-A-T-T-I, dot Powell, P-O-W-E-L-L, at Thrivent, THRIVENT.com, or if you prefer phone, 763-252-4447.
Howard Held. I work with Clare House through the Minnesota Lavender Bar Association, which is the GLBTQ part of the Lawyers Bar, and we do quarterly events at the different Clare House locations, usually on a Saturday or Sunday morning, a breakfast, lunch, bingo, holiday party. We did a pride party, so it's part of our reaching out to the community. I practice in the area of workers' comp defense, so I represent employers and insurance companies. We're the ones that defend the cases against people who are trying to seek work comp benefits who are not entitled.
Yeah, and so you're hosting a table today.
I am Zaylor Stout, attorney at law, and I are hosting a table of friends who also believe in the Clare House structures. I'm at Fitch, Johnson, Larson, and Held. Our phone number is 612-332-1023.
Aaron Zimmerman of Domestic Abuse Project.
And?
Ursula Parfanyuk of Domestic Abuse Project.
So you're here sort of as sort of individual citizens supporting like Clare Housing today, but I did want to talk about some of the things that are happening at DAP here in a second. Why did you feel it was so important to be here to support this event and this organization?
Definitely. What we see with our clients at Domestic Abuse Project is they're facing a lot of other things. When they walk in our door, they're not just facing domestic violence. They're facing things like housing instability. They could be facing an HIV/AIDS diagnosis. They could be facing other forms of intersectional identities that really make it important that we're all coming together as a community and supporting the clients that we see and the clients that Clare Housing works with.
And like I said, there are some big things coming up at Domestic Abuse Project. We want to let people know about it.
Yeah, we've got our luncheon coming up as well in a couple weeks, and so another chance for the community to come together to see really good work being done. And of course, the crowd here is gigantic, and that's really exciting to see. I've been a supporter of Clare Housing for a number of years, and it's really exciting to see the community come together.
Where can people find out about everything that's happening at DAP?
You can go to our website, domesticabuseproject.com.
Jim Sees from Clare Housing.
Jamie Nabuzny from Sunrise Banks.
Well, I'm a staff member, and as part of the development team, I help with the other two individuals, and we plan this event and put it on, and it's through the great support and hospices of sponsors such as Jamie from Sunrise that we're able to do this.
Yeah, we're here because we're a longtime supporter of Clare Housing. We really believe in their mission, and we want to be part of it.
And why is it so important that organizations like Sunrise Bank continue to invest in this work?
Well, for us, it's about an investment in the community, but also as a nonprofit, we walk in and every penny of the costs of this is paid for before we even open the doors. And so individuals who are in attendance can know that every penny that they give us as a contribution today is going directly to programs and services.
And this is just one way that Sunrise invests in the community.
Absolutely. This is one of many ways that we commit to the community. Diversity and inclusion has been a huge part of what we're doing and giving back to those who are saving lives and giving people hope.
Kevin Ringdahl.
And Rebecca Wagoner.
Well, I am the board chairman of Twin Cities Quorum, which is the LGBT Chamber of Commerce here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the surrounding area. And Rebecca is our executive director. And we've had a long-standing relationship with Clare Housing and fully support their mission.
Yeah, and fully support is no exaggeration. Quorum is here in force today.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited to see so many Quorum members here supporting an organization that we all love so deeply that's changing the world so much.
You know, I think Clare Housing provides such an important mission here in the Twin Cities in terms of providing quality housing for people that may not normally have access to it. And I think it's a great way for local businesses to support it, and that's I think kind of the part of the unique relationship that Quorum has with Clare Housing.
And Clare Housing is one of the nonprofit members of Quorum. What are some of the benefits to a nonprofit organization to becoming a member of Quorum?
You know, I was just talking with somebody about this. So it's access. It's access to a world that's bigger than what they usually see. nonprofits are so driven by mission that they very rarely get opportunities to get out into the world, make new connections, meet new people, hopefully get new donors, but also be able to spread their message widely.
Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Matt Hudson from US Bank. So I actually really tied in with Clare Housing. I've been doing the event that Mary Brewster hosts every year as a performer, and I work for US Bank, and it's really one of the 3 nonprofits that we like to focus our attention on. Just the work that they do is really important to me, and I like to share that with our team. And it really clicked with our district, our region manager, and then the Twin Cities president, and they wanted to do something, and they decided to be one of the sponsors for today's event.
Yeah, and this is just one of the ways that US Bank reinvests in the community.
Right. We're also upcoming. We're the presenting sponsor for the National Coming Out Day with Quorum. We're the presenting sponsor for HRC Gala coming up. So we like to be involved in our community and really make sure that our presence is known in our home community.
Kate Kramer, social worker. So I work at Clare Housing. I've been here almost 6 years, and this is my favorite event of the year because it brings in community members who support Clare Housing, that are excited that Clare Housing's here. We have awesome speakers, and it's just a great community event.
Yeah, and you're kind of posted up at the registration table here. That's always kind of an unsung sort of heroic endeavor at big events like this. How'd the registration process go today?
It's good. They actually assigned me to panic seating. Okay. So people that forgot to register, I need to find a seat for them, and it's been going great.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, how can people get involved with Clare and volunteer their time or resources?
All they have to do is go to our website, clarehousing.org.
Debbie Wyman.
Chuck Peterson.
I work as a community outreach coordinator.
And actually, Debbie coordinated this entire event. And I'm Chuck Peterson. I'm the executive director at Clare Housing. So our primary service that we provide is housing. And then along with that, we provide wraparound services so people are able to go back to work, manage any health concerns they have, any health conditions. And so they have 24/7 supports to be able to help them navigate their health issues.
I think really the really important message to get out there is that HIV is still around, and there is a lot of work that still needs to be done. And I think what Clare Housing does extremely, extremely well is looking at people as a whole person and not identifying them or categorizing them by a diagnosis of HIV, and it's about restoring dignity.
Yeah, and volunteering and contributing to this event is just one way that people can contribute to the efforts that Clare undertakes all year long. What are some other ways that people can get involved?
There is bingo, which is, I think it's the Saturday night before Halloween.
October 27th.
And, thank you, Chuck. And that is another way that folks can get connected to Clare Housing. We also have other volunteer engagement opportunities that any one of us on the development team would be happy to sit down and visit with folks. We have a program called the Journey Home Program, which is a great way to introduce organizations to Clare Housing. We bring the program to you, and you can do this over the noon hour or whatever works for your place of business, your home, whatever, and we just really need people helping us to spread the word about Clare Housing.
Yeah, on December 1st, World AIDS Day, we're going to hold another event for our donors to thank them for their support. Details still to come on time and when that'll happen, but so we'll do that event there, and then there's some other holiday stuff too that we'll probably announce in the near future as a way for people to engage at year end.
And for people who couldn't make the event, who may be listening later, that maybe were involved in pulling off today's event, what would you like to say to all the people that contributed to this event today?
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It does take a village.
Carrie Walski, communications person.
Yeah, and what would you like people to know about Clare Housing?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is just that HIV is not over. It's still very much with us. And, you know, the way it's going, unfortunately, the trends are that it's affecting those people who have disparate access to healthcare right now. So that means, unfortunately, you know, people who are living in poverty, people who, you know, are of color, people who are transgender, honestly. And so there are all these sort of things intersecting to change the face of folks who have HIV. And it's more important than ever that we keep focused on supporting everyone who's living with this illness so that we can find a way to, you know, get people to undetectable. Because if we can do that, we can absolutely end the transmission of HIV right now, which is really exciting. Like, we don't need a cure to do it. if we can just get everybody connected to healthcare and connected to housing, because let's face it, it's hard to take your medicine when you don't have housing, that's going to be really transformative. And that's why I'm really excited to work for Clare Housing, and that's why I'm really excited to also donate to Clare Housing as well. So I'm a Journey Home member, which means that my husband and I, we donate, a boatload of money every year, $1,000 a year, which is a lot of money, but we split it, so it's a lot more manageable. And it's worth it because this organization is truly making a measurable difference for people.
That's right. And along those lines, as important it is to remind people that there's still a long way to go, we also want to remind people how much work has been done and how much success Clare has had over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's very true.
Over the last 30 plus years.
Yes, yeah, we've been doing this for 31 years now, and we have affected positively the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people now by providing this housing and the supportive services that we do. We're currently housing 250-ish people. I think a little more than that. It kind of changes, from time to time. But yeah, that's a great thing to be proud of. Like, we are the single largest dedicated provider of supportive housing for people living with HIV in the state. So we really lead on this issue and do the work that we do effectively because we are so focused. And it's an exciting time because we do know we've identified around 1,000 people who are living with HIV in the state of Minnesota who we know are either unstably housed, so they're couch surfing with their friends, or they're straight up homeless. We've identified these folks. We know who they are. If we can just galvanize, our civic leaders and our funders and all of you in the community around this idea of ending homelessness for people living with HIV, then we can reach that goal, that vision of an AIDS-free world. So, it's hard. There's work to do. But it's exciting because we know what to do. We just need to do more of it.
Yeah. And what's the best way for people to find out about everything that Clare Housing is up to and how they can get involved?
Yeah, great question. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can join our e-newsletter list, either through the website or through Facebook. You can also just check out our website, too, because we've got tons of volunteer opportunities up there. And I will say, whether, you have time or treasure to donate, or maybe both, we do have volunteer opportunities to really fit your needs and your interests. So if you're like, what, I don't see something here that quite jives with me, but I'm really great at this one thing, whether it's like cutting hair, you're a hairstylist, or even, you're a musician and you'd love to put on a little concert for folks. We're always looking for meaningful ways to enrich the lives of our residents. And if you have something to share, absolutely, please be in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the work you guys do in the community. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
The TC Pride Podcast is a production of the nonprofit podcast community and Twin Cities Pride. Subscribe now on iTunes, on Android, or by email at tcpridepodcast.org. Because we're in this together. NonPod turns your email newsletter, blog, or video content into a more powerful, more personal, more intimate, on-demand listening experience. Your podcast, your story, your voice, simplified, amplified. Learn more now at nonpod.com.